So if you like the new Nike Mercurials but think that 260 or 280 euros is a little too much money,
Jay ain't broke.
well, frankly, you're in luck, because Nike have also made cheaper options called the Pro and the Academy. And in today's video, I'll talk you through the tech specs, but also of course the differences between the three models to hopefully help you decide which of the versions to go for. If you want to buy it, well, you can do so in the link right up there. Just make sure you subscribe to the channel with the notifications on, and let's do it. But let's start from the top with the Elite version, where the big innovation, of course, is this Zoom Air unit in the outsole. Now, it's this 3/4 length airbag sitting underneath the forefoot and the midfoot that offers this, I would say, really unique and slightly bouncy and also very comfortable sensation of just being more at one with the boot. And while it's not something that you should expect to almost propel you forward in this very explosive and responsive way to make you feel faster, I still find it extremely comfortable, and I actually like it a lot. Now, it might not be for everyone because it is a little bit unique and slightly untraditional, but if you don't like it, there's a solution to that as well, which I'm gonna get to in a bit. Because we should also take a look at the upper here called the Vapor Plus. It's made up of 4 layers, with an inner layer taking away the worst sting when you strike the ball. Then on top of that, you have the so-called speed cage to give you a little bit of structure and stability and lockdown for your foot to make sure that it doesn't roll too much around inside the boot when you change direction. On top of that, you have the main component of the upper, this chevron-shaped woven textile mesh, and then topping it all off, you have this silicone coating to protect the lot and give it a slightly matte and textured feel. You of course also have your premium Flyknit color sock in various heights depending on whether you get the Vapor or the Superfly model. And this upper here is just extremely soft and feels very nice and rich straight out of the box. And it offers this snug-ish, very sleek sensation and this Mercurial trademark sharpness on the ball with a little bit of texture as well. Now, I will say that the new model here feels ever so slightly wider and more roomy than the previous years in the Superfly 8 and Vapor 14, so it will accommodate a lot of different foot shapes, and I'll definitely say that it's in my top 3, if not higher, of the most comfortable Mercurial boots ever. It's just a really good boot, actually. But so is the Pro, and that makes it very interesting, because the Vapor is just 150 euros and the Superfly is just 160 euros. And I say just, I realize it's still quite a lot of money to some people, but on the other hand, it is significantly cheaper than the Elite version. And if you for some reason don't like the feeling of the Zoom Air bag in the Elites, the Pro version might actually just be the best option for you altogether, regardless of the price point. Because while Nike have included a little bit of Zoom Air in the Pro, it's just a little pod in the heel, and you can definitely feel it when you're just standing around looking for it, but otherwise, it's definitely a more traditional sensation that you might be used to from the older Mercurials. And on top of that, it's just a good boot. Especially because it seems like, at least, it keeps the same outsole as the Elite model, which means that you get this really aggressive, very responsive and powerful traction in the ground when you're pushing off. But the other big difference lies in the upper, which Nike, again, I guess, call Nike Skin. It's a bit of a broad term, we've heard that name, I guess, a million times before, but honestly, that's besides the point. Because the upper here is made with a circular knit base. Then it has a variation of the speed cage, again to give you that bit of structure and support. And then it's all topped off with a silicone layer, just like on the Elites. No ACC though, but hey, you'll live without it. And I'll be honest and say that the upper here is definitely not as nice or elasticated or feels as rich or premium as the Elites, but with it being so soft and fitting so well, I guess it's really hard to complain, especially for the money. It feels very good on your foot. The colors are for some reason a little bit higher than on the Elite models, both on the Superfly and the Vapor, which is odd, and not a big fan of the material, to be honest. It feels a little bit rougher and harder, and you can tell that it's a cheaper variation of the knit. And also, it's super thin. It's almost see-through, which has me super worried if someone comes flying in with a tackle and rips it open with a stud. But with that said, on foot, the Pro variation could easily make me think could fool me into thinking that I'm wearing a top level boot. And for that sort of money, I think it's doing a really good job. Because I would say that euro for euro, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, this is the best value for money in the entire range. Don't get me wrong, I think the Elites are better boots, I like them more, but honestly I wouldn't mind wearing this straight into a match. And that's the best recommendation I can give a boot. One hell of a job, Nike. So yeah, the Pro is a bit of a hard boot to follow in terms of value for money, but we shouldn't forget the Academy version either. It's 85 euros for the Vapor and 95 euros for the Superfly 9 Academy that I have here. And it follows the same concept as the Pro by using the same blueprint as on the Superfly 9 Elite, but executing it with cheaper materials. So you still get a mesh base upper, it's not as soft or nice, but it's still relatively pliable, and then you have a silicone coating on top with this embossed structure or pattern to mimic what we get from the speed cage as well. Then you also get a Zoom Air unit in the heel, just like on the Pro, which for this price point is really nice. And you also get an updated last, so the shape of the boot itself. It's a little bit more anatomical, has a more curved toe box, but it is also, I would definitely say, the widest of the Mercurials. So even if you have a boat of a foot, this should definitely fit you. Now, what you also get is this new MG outsole. It's called multi-ground basically, and it's engineered to focus on both FG and AG pitches in terms of durability. But I will say that if you or your child plays a lot on artificial pitches, you should probably go for the AG specific outsole of the Academy instead. It's just a little bit better in terms of injury prevention. It's basically a safer outsole compared to this. But you can use it on both, and that's the main point. And I will say that while you can definitely feel that this is a cheaper version of the Superfly 9, especially in terms of the materials used and the whole execution, it's a solid boot. It feels comfortable, and if you look at what else is out there at this price, I think Nike have done a really good job. It's not bad. It's not bad. So when you look at it, the new Mercurial range is actually pretty good. All the options are solid for the money, and especially the Pro just gives you a whole lot of value for the money. And don't get me wrong, I think the Elite is the best, but there's a bit of something for everyone. And my question here is, which is the one for you? Well, you should let me know in the comment section right down below. And then of course remember that you can buy all of the new Mercurials in the link to Unisport right over there. But don't go yet. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with the notifications on, and maybe also consider coming back if you want to learn how to improve as a footballer. There's a playlist right down there, and it's absolutely wicked. With those words, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.